The very beginning of the anime episode opens as Noah sets out with determined steps toward the imposing Ministry of Justice. Upon his arrival at that formidable structure, he is greeted by Vinny Ossi, the Deputy Minister of Justice, a man whose welcoming demeanor does little to mask the underlying tension. Noah immediately takes note. Vinny appears shockingly youthful, yet he projects an undeniable, almost crushing, aura of immense personal strength. Vinny wastes no time in launching into the complex set of responsibilities that Noah is now inheriting. He lays out two foundational mandates. First and foremost, Noah is tasked with the critical mission of synchronizing the operational workflow of every single court scattered across the entirety of the Mers Empire. Secondly, Vinny explains that their ministry holds jurisdiction over a vast array of sensitive legal matters occurring specifically within the imperial capital. He reminds Noah of the historical precedent set during the massive armed insurrection 6 years prior. It has become an established, unshakable tradition that either the ministry itself, or the emperor personally, assumes the authority to try those responsible for the most egregious offenses, such as the crime of high treason and sedition. Noah quickly processes this information, realizing the ministry functions as a supreme general court, but he is left uncertain about Vinny's personal involvement in handling the trial proceedings. Vinny clarifies his role, explaining that he absolutely does preside over cases, though his participation is strictly governed by the inherent nature and severity of the matter at hand. Taking a bold, confrontational stance, Noah cuts straight to the point. "Tell me, Deputy Minister, exactly how much do you routinely accept in bribes?" Vinny is visibly staggered by the sheer audacity of the question, his expression registering shock as he firmly denies any such corrupt activity. Noah quickly seeks to mitigate the impact, assuring him he harbors no ill will or intent to force a confession. His sole purpose is the acquisition of raw truth, and he promises Vinny that every word spoken within that room will be completely erased from his mind the moment they part ways. Cornered and believing Noah's intent, Vinny reluctantly makes a devastating admission. He confesses that, personally, he exercises restraint, declining large payoffs and accepting only a mere few hundred rin annually. He reveals his ironclad personal rule. He never accepts bribes in murder investigations, a standard his own subordinates flagrantly ignore, taking sums 10 times larger than his meager intake. He rationalizes that bribery in homicide cases carries too high a risk of exposure and invites the potential for deadly, unforgiving vengeance from the aggrieved parties. Therefore, he limits his illicit dealings to those ambiguous disputes where the scales of justice could reasonably be balanced either way. Noah then presents a crisp document to Vinny, sealing the deal with a staggering offer. "If your current annual illicit income is 500 rin, I will deposit 5,000 into your account right now. Furthermore, you will cease accepting any bribe whatsoever as long as I remain in this ministry. My objective is to fulfill the Emperor's high expectations, and I require your absolute cooperation to secure that trust." In that electrifying moment, Vinny grasps the true measure of Noah, the reason the Emperor honored him with the title of Sage at the age of 6 and elevated him to the rank of Prince Minister. Vinny immediately acknowledges that his need for supplemental wealth has evaporated. He passionately pleads for permission to dedicate his service to Noah, effective immediately. Noah pauses, momentarily considering the inescapable need for caution, before concluding with firm reliance, "I am counting on you entirely now." The scene shifts abruptly to a lavish celebration held at the palace, orchestrated by Noah's brother, Oscar, to honor Noah's appointment to the Ministry of Justice. Noah expresses his deep gratitude, and Oscar beams with pride, ecstatic that Noah has become only the second Prince Minister appointed during the Emperor's long reign, following their brother, Henry. Yet, Oscar notices a peculiar strain beneath Noah's composure. Noah confesses his confusion regarding the reason for their appointment. Oscar proudly asserts it is simply an undeniable sign of the Emperor's profound personal favor. Noah concedes this seems logical for Henry. He had the legitimate justification of quashing the rebellion. But Noah possesses no such record. His appointment thus appears to be pure imperial favoritism. They then delve into the history of the empire, which narrowly avoided collapse due to its flawed succession law, which condemned unelected princes to lives of meaningless stagnation. The subsequent reform, granting fiefdoms and high education, was designed to cement stability. Noah guides Oscar's thoughts. "My ministerial post is not merely advanced schooling." Oscar jolts, realizing the stark implication. The Emperor is considering Noah as the next crown prince, though the true, underlying motive remains hidden in imperial strategy. A servant then interrupts with urgent classified intelligence. The Emperor has named Noah Prince Minister of Finance for the Morning Council. Noah suspects a calculated move against Albert, but Oscar remains happily oblivious. The focus swings to the Emperor himself. His guard delivers a chilling update. 167 arrests have been made, including Kate's, who has confessed the entire conspiracy aimed at forcing the Emperor's abdication in favor of the Crown Prince. The Emperor now has confirmation that Crown Prince Albert orchestrated the treason. However, the Emperor is legally paralyzed. He lacks the direct, irrefutable evidence required to prosecute his own son. He orders Kate's executed as a painful necessity to contain the immediate danger. He then queries his aide about the situation with Oscar. The aide reports that Oscar, despite his own complicity, immediately dispatched a trusted informant, and Noah was present when the order was given. The Emperor realizes instantly, Noah was the one who correctly deciphered his coded instruction. The report confirms the Emperor's highest opinion. Noah is astonishing, as always. Gilbert is useless. Albert, I will test them all. We shall observe who is deemed worthy after traversing my trial. The scene shifts back to the palace grounds. A young courtier addresses Noah, summarizing the captured plotters, the leader of the insurrection and his network. Noah responds with chilling certainty. No doubt they are all intimates of Albert, his trusted advisor, his former tutor, his elite guard. Any sane observer would immediately deduce this was a rebellion spearheaded by the Crown Prince's faction. He then dissects the legal peril. Imperial law dictates severe fragmentation for any royal involved in treason, whether leader or mere accessory. The same penalty awaits if knowledge of the plot was withheld. Given the sheer density of Albert's inner circle being implicated, his active ignorance is untenable. Yet, the public execution of a crown prince would trigger a catastrophic scandal. Noah asks the guard about the Emperor's direct command regarding the law. His Majesty commanded that those exact legal strictures be applied to punish the arrested conspirators, the guard relays. Noah's voice hardens. I comprehend the Emperor's concealed strategy completely now. I will deliver the final judgment. Noah stands before the Emperor. I have reached a definitive conclusion on the punishment for these rebels. The leader of this sedition will be cleaved in two at the waist. His accomplices will be executed. These executions are scheduled to occur instantly upon the official pronouncement. Noah continues his precise analysis. By confining the scope strictly to those already apprehended, you are clearly signaling your reluctance to involve Albert at this precise juncture. However, a subsequent pardon could expose his direct involvement, causing chaos. Therefore, I strongly request that the execution be delayed only until the second designated day for all capital sentences. This entire process must be executed with maximum swiftness to prevent any window for external interference, all while maintaining absolute adherence to the imperial code. The Emperor agrees with alacrity, praises Noah's sagacity, and instructs crews to add a substantial 1,000 rin bonus to Noah's salary, stating, "This level of sharp execution is precisely what I anticipated. My high hopes for you remain firmly rooted. Persevere on this trajectory." The very next moment, they arrive at Noah's private palace only to be confronted by a gruesome scene. The royal guards lay slaughtered at the entrance gates. The sole surviving guard manages to gasp. The infiltrators, they are still inside the structure. Noah immediately assumes command, ordering one attendant to dispatch reinforcements from his allied brother at the Ministry of Military Affairs, with a stringent caveat: do not permit a single soul, not one person, not even the other princes, to enter or exit this compound until I personally give leave. Noah sprints inside, finds the assailant actively executing the last of the household staff, and immediately charges, brutally severing the man's limbs. The dying man then consumes a vial of poison to prevent capture. His remaining 3 henchmen rush toward Noah, but he annihilates them with a devastating flurry of impossibly fast strikes. A guard stumbles in, reporting casualties among their own forces but confirming all the immediate armed rebels are neutralized. Noah staggers slightly, gripping his side, thinking bitterly, these must be Albert's private agents. They are the Crown Prince's hired swords. Then, in a shocking, self-destructive display of calculated risk, Noah raises his own weapon and savagely drives the blade into his own body. He addresses the horrified guard. These 4, they are the architects of this injury. Tell me, what is the most severe penalty mandated for anyone who inflicts a life-threatening wound upon a prince? The guard, visibly shaking, answers, immediate execution by decree, without any right of appeal. Noah commands with the last of his strength, carry out that sentence immediately against the supposed culprits. The final sequence transitions to Noah lying gravely injured in his bed, surrounded by frantic medical personnel. The guard enters and reports, Your Excellency, the sentence has been carried out against the responsible parties. Noah manages a weak response. Good. This file is now permanently sealed. The guard expresses his deep awe. Your Highness continues to astound every person who bears witness to your actions. Noah's inner thought is a stark warning. If I had miscalculated by even a single fraction of an inch, this entire empire would have been irrevocably plunged into chaos. Later, Noah requests a formal audience with the Emperor. I apologize for summoning you while you are clearly suffering, the Emperor says kindly. Please do not stand on ceremony. Noah accepts the sentiment but admits he feels only profound shame for his lapse in security. The Emperor counters gently, you carry a shared burden. Yet, for a man of your known exceptional capacity to be wounded, were these assassins truly such unparalleled masters of combat? Noah understands the Emperor's deeper question. He knows I inflicted this wound myself through calculated risk. Noah answers carefully, true power is not defined solely by mastery of the sword. Even the most gifted talent can falter if their deepest psychological fault lines are exploited by an enemy. The Emperor absorbs this, nodding slowly. I comprehend your meaning. You are an excellent son. Our son. The entire populace takes pride in your swift ascent. Noah reflects internally. He has clearly grasped the sheer strategic depth required to resolve this entire domestic crisis. The Emperor invites him to walk with him, asking, do you realize, Noah, that fully 9 out of every 10 emperors celebrated for their unparalleled leadership suffer a grievous blemish upon their reputation as they approach their final years? Noah immediately understands the veiled reference to the Crown Prince. This emperor forged an era of unprecedented glory and will surely be immortalized as a towering figure. However, had that coup succeeded, history would have dismissed him as a senile relic unable to govern his own progeny. It is evident the emperor has lost all trust in Albert, but a public dismissal now would irrevocably tarnish his own celebrated final chapter. Noah cautiously intervenes. If your Imperial Majesty permits, I have a crucial proposal to put forward. He outlines the existing ministerial structure, Henry, Oscar, and himself, and the inherent risks of unchecked autonomy. He suggests a unifying mechanism. He proposes the creation of a new, supreme supervisory rank, the Prince Prime Minister, and that this position be occupied by the Crown Prince. The Emperor rejects this instantly. That is utterly impossible. Your injuries are far too severe. You must retire for today. As the Emperor turns to leave, Noah presses the final, vital point. The Crown Prince is 30 years of age. I can understand his growing frustration with this prolonged political vacuum. However, the final authority must absolutely reside with your Majesty in all matters, and his duty would be merely to emulate your governance. The Emperor questions the hierarchy, but his position would still supersede that of the ministers, correct? And what guarantee do we have that the Prince Prime Minister will not willfully ignore a critical dispatch? Noah delivers the masterstroke. To absolutely safeguard against dereliction, grant every single Prince Minister the inalienable right of direct, immediate appeal to your Imperial Majesty. If the three of us unanimously agree on an issue's paramount importance, we possess the collective authority to bypass the Prince Prime Minister entirely and present it directly to the throne. Thus, the Crown Prince retains zero actual executive power. It is irrelevant whether the title carries true authority. It will be nothing more than an empty shell. The Emperor is completely convinced by this ingenious political maneuver. You are absolutely correct. If this is the framework for success, it is the optimal path forward. This shall be enacted as an irrevocable decree under the seal of the throne. Noah expresses immense gratitude. The Emperor replies with wistful sincerity, it is a profound disappointment that you were not born into this world sooner. I shall ensure you are compensated beyond mere coin for such an invaluable proposal. The Emperor's guard then announces they are proceeding to the Imperial Treasury. There, the Emperor asks, was it through your own independent diligence that you uncovered the significance of this ring? Yes, Your Majesty, Noah confirms. I wish to personally observe your administrative judgment. Choose any object that captures your interest. Noah accepts the gesture with profound thanks. This concludes the entirety of the anime episode. If this intense narrative has captivated you, ensure you smash the like button immediately, subscribe without fail, and activate the notification bell so that you are instantly alerted to every subsequent development.